StudyIQ IAS. अब तैयारी हुई अफोर्डेबल.
Hello, namaskar, namaskara, namaskara, namaskar. My name is Pooja Divedi. Welcome to my class, The Daily Current Affairs, where we will learn not only about the significant events of the past 24 hours, but also how to tackle prelims, because prelims is becoming the most challenging part of our examination pattern. Because although we have studied about the topics, we may have revised about it multiple times, but because we lack the mindfulness about reading the statement, we end up taking the wrong answer, and that costs us a lot of marks. So that is why I'm here to help you out in that regard only. The PDF of whatever I teach here is provided on my Telegram channel that goes by the name of Pooja Divedi StudyIQ UPSC. And that is important. Why? Because I expect you not to make notes while I tell you how to tackle the prelims examination, the questions. Notes I'm already providing you in the form of the PDF. What I expect you to do here is to be attentive in the class so that you can actually understand what I am telling you here and not just mugging up or making down notes. Okay, so remember that. And if you have any questions regarding the strategy for UPSC examination, if you have any questions regarding international relations, if you have any questions regarding whatever I teach here, you can connect with me on my Instagram. Okay, let's move ahead and talk about these various events that we have to talk about today. First, let's talk about India and Malaysia relationship. Consider the following statements. In ASEAN, Malaysia is the largest trading partner of India. Second statement asks us, India and Malaysia have an enhanced strategic partnership since 2002. And third statement is saying India and Malaysia signed a memorandum of understanding on defense cooperation as early as 1993. So what do we have to see? How many statements are correct? We have to see. In the first statement, this statement is totally incorrect. Why? Because Malaysia in ASEAN is the third largest trading partner of India and not the largest. In the comment segment, tell me which country of ASEAN is the largest trading partner of India. India and Malaysia have signed an enhanced strategic partnership back in 2015 and not 2022. That makes the second statement to be incorrect. And India and Malaysia signed a memorandum of understanding on defense cooperation way back in 1993. So, third is correct. First is incorrect, second is incorrect, third is correct. How many are correct now? One only will be the correct answer. The defense minister has gone to Malaysia on a visit so that they can elevate their partnership. Now, here is Malaysia, as you can see, and here is India. Malaysia is a part of ASEAN, a very important neighbor of India. India established diplomatic relations with Malaysia in 1957, and these have enjoyed a strong relationship, and that is manifested through different high-level visits. Also, if we talk about the people of Indian origin or person of Indian origin who are residing in Malaysia, it amounts to 2.75 million. Now, that makes Malaysia to be the second largest host of PIOs after the USA. I have given you a very important prelims fact over here. Moving on, if we talk about the enhanced strategic partnership, it was signed way back in 2015. When the Prime Minister of India visited Malaysia. Apart from Memorandum of Defense, Memorandum of Understanding on Defense Cooperation, we have other Memorandum of Understandings or bilateral agreement as well, such as Bilateral Extradition Treaty, MOU on Cooperation in the field of higher education, in the field of traditional system of medicine, and the rest. Now, the commercial relations are very important. Any country with which India has relations, we have to know about the economic and commercial relations also. So remember that Malaysia has emerged as the 13th largest trading partner for India in the entire world. And for Malaysia, we are the 10th largest. When it comes to ASEAN, Malaysia is the third largest trading partner of India. What do we export to Malaysia? Mineral fuel, mineral oil, aluminium and the aluminium articles. Other than this, iron and steel, copper and the copper articles, organic chemicals, nuclear reactors, boilers and the rest. What do we get from Malaysia? What do we import from Malaysia? It includes palm oil, mineral or mineral oils, electrical machinery, equipment, animal or vegetable fats and oils, copper and copper article, machinery and mechanical appliances, and the rest. Moving on. Consider the following statements. Statement 1 says, flash floods are accompanied by landslides in mountainous regions. Statement 2 says, mountainous regions are more prone to landslides rather than flash floods. So we have to choose the correct answer from the given options. See, flash floods are what? Flash floods occur when there is incessant or continuous rain in a localized place for a short span of time. When the place is localized, that means it's a short or a small area, and we have a lot of rain here in a very short span of time, supposedly 6 hours. That causes flash floods. Why? In a very short span of time, we are receiving too much rainfall. It is not balanced in nature. And in the mountainous region, because of the presence of loose soil, the terrain, the geology of mountainous region is such that whenever flash floods occur, it is accompanied by landslides as well, as we are seeing every year, specifically in hill stations. How highways and bridges are getting washed away just like that. Okay, the first statement is definitely correct. Mountainous regions are more prone to landslides rather than flash floods. No, they are of course prone to landslides, but in the recent years we are seeing since 2013, extreme weather events are causing too much flash floods, and this is generally associated with cloudburst. Cloudburst is sudden rainfall over a localized period, over a localized area for a very short span of time. Alright, so first statement is correct, second is not correct, statement 1 is correct, but statement 2 is not correct is the correct answer. In Himachal Pradesh, we are seeing flash floods, landslides, not only there, but in Jammu and Kashmir as well. What are these? Flash floods, these are actually excessive or continuous rainfall over a period of days. These are short in number, and this is during a particular season. It could be for a period of days or a particular season. Like in India, we have the monsoon season when cloudbursts and landslides and flash floods occur. They can lead to stagnation of water, which causes flooding. Stagnation of water means the area is filled with water, and they occur in a much shorter span of time. They are highly localized and are caused when rainfall creates flooding situation. In India, these are generally associated with cloudburst. Specifically in the Himalayan regions, we are seeing due to the melting of glaciers, we get glacial lakes. Glacial lakes are formed when the area which is hollow in nature is filled with the melted glacier waters, and for a period of time it is okay, it is good and healthy for the ecosystem. But if it becomes beyond our it cannot be tamed. When it happens like that, when it becomes wild, too much glacial melt occurs, these glacial lakes, they become overfilled with water, and now as they were holding back a lot of water, but when there is too much glacier there that is melting, it breaches, the dam gates breach, and when that happens, flooding occurs. This is specifically for Himalayan regions, and it is known as glacial lake outburst floods. Okay, glacial lake outburst floods. That means floods which are caused due to the outburst of glacial lakes. And of course, frequently flash floods are accompanied with landslides. They are very common in mountainous region due to the geology, topography, as well as the soil nature, and these could be caused due to two reasons. First is natural, second is anthropogenic, and then after that we have the sub reasons. For natural purposes, of course, heavy rainfall, if it is occurring, then boulders and debris will start moving downwards. Then of course that is due to mountainous region. Of course, first mountainous region have this soil nature, topography and the rest. And the second causing factor is of course gravity. Gravity will make the system of soil move downwards. And when that happens, these are landslides. So heavy rainfall, earthquakes, snow melting, undercutting of slopes. That means these are slopes. And if water is undercutting the soil, this will become loose in nature and hence it will come down as landslides. Other important reasons also are there specifically with respect to anthropogenic activities such as excavation, cutting of hills and trees. Trees hold the soil together. If we cut them out, they won't hold the soil together anymore and the soil will become loose. Excessive infrastructure development, which is happening right now, also overgrazing by cattle. Now, as we see this particular map, which is the landslide atlas map of India, it has been brought out by ISRO, remember that. And it shows us so many regions in India that are prone to landslides, specifically Northeast India. And here we have Uttarakhand, Himachal Pradesh and Jammu and Kashmir. In Western Ghats also we are seeing landslides. The most affected state in India by landslides is Mizoram. Then we have Uttarakhand, then we have Tripura and so on. So remember that. Moving on. Consider the following statements. For fiscal 2022-23, defense exports have risen to INR 16,000 crore, which is a 15-fold increase if we compare it with the year 2016-2017. After the defense public sector undertakings, it is the private sector that is the second, that has the largest share in defense production. That means largest is defense PSUs and second largest is the private sector. India has a target of achieving INR 35,000 crore in defense exports by the year 2030. So how many statements given above is or are not correct, we have to see. Why do I include questions such as not correct? Because what happens that during the examination, you are so nervous, you sometimes forget to recheck what the question is asking. Even if you're doing it correctly in your brains, but of course, if you miss this word, you can end up writing the wrong answer. So remember that, okay? For fiscal 2022-23, defense exports, yes, they have risen to a record high of 16,000 crore. And it is a 10-fold increase if we compare it with the year 2016-17. Why do I do this? Because I want to trick you like the UPSC. Sometimes we can be very good with our memory and remember this, but we do not even care about looking at the how many times fold it has increased. So I have made sure that you are tricked here in this particular manner. So read everything. Now UPSC is not wanting somebody who just reads magazines for 2 months, the compilations, and they are able to clear this examination. No. It wants somebody who has respected this exam enough to go through the magazines, to go through the daily current affairs, to go through the newspapers on a daily basis. If you're going to respect this exam is going to give you respect. So remember that. So be sure that you are reading in depth. If you're just reading it superficially, not revising it, it's not going to help you. So remember to read it in depth. Alright? So it's a 10-fold increase, not a 15-fold increase. And looking at this achievement, the government is thinking, let's now raise our stakes to 35,000 crore export, defense export by the year 2024-25 and not the year 2030. Okay. So these are data-based questions. That means you have to revise them. Nobody is a superhuman that just for once if they have read it, they will be able to answer this question. If you revise it time and over again, specifically important achievements of the government, they can easily clear this paper when it comes to data-based questions. Okay. Then after the defense PSUs, it is the private sector which have a share of 21% in the defense production. Okay. Because we have to become Atmanirbhar Bharat in the defense sector as well. So first statement is incorrect. Second statement is correct and third statement is incorrect. Not correct ones we had to see. 2 only will be the correct answer. So not only this exam is checking your capacity when it comes to memory, but also concept and also how you tackle pressure. After reading so much, you might miss out on the not part. So what do we have to do? We have to continuously practice prelims questions such as these so that we do not lag behind. Alright. Now, record-breaking defense exports have taken place. I have already told you about the number. It is 16,000 crore, but now it's a 10-fold increase. That was just 1,521 crore if we talk about the year 2016-17. Now we want to have defense exports worth rupees 35,000 crore by the year 2024-25. Here I have a chart which shows us that 57% of the defense production was undertaken by the defense PSUs. After that, we have the private companies, 21%. Then we have the Ordnance Factory Board with 16%, and the rest are other public sector undertakings and joint venture. Okay, and why have we achieved this feat? Because of policy changes. Specifically, when I used to read the newspapers back in 2020, I used to see that the defense minister is putting embargoes on defense imports. Embargoes means that a prohibition was provided that these kind of equipments will not come into our country. We will produce them, because we have to become Atmanirbhar Bharat in the defense sector, because we have to give so much foreign exchange to these countries. Any country which is self-sustaining, specifically which needs a lot of ammunition and arms, as we have a neighbor such as Pakistan and China. So we need to ensure that we are not dependent on any other country. We can produce our own. After that, we had our positive indigenization list. This was the group of, you can say, arms and ammunitions which had to be produced by India and India only, not imported by any other country. Now, after becoming Atmanirbhar when it comes to production, we are now thinking that why not export these arms and ammunitions to other countries? So that is why we are becoming good here. Now, major platforms such as Akash Missile, BrahMos, Pinaka, Dornier, thermal imagers, advanced towered artillery guns, these all are the ones which are ensuring that we are becoming major export country as well. But we still are dependent on the imports. Let's see how. The CPRI's Stockholm-based CPRI, it produced a report in international arms transfer in the year 2022, in which it said, it was published in the year 2023, but the data was from the year 2022, which said that India and Saudi Arabia are among the top arms importers. After that, we had Qatar, Australia and China. So top 5 arms importing countries are India, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Australia and China. India received 31% Russian arms exports, and France was able to displace USA as India's second largest supplier. So we have first Russia, and now second country which is giving us arms is France, not the USA. However, Russian arms exports to India, they have dipped by 37% if we compare it to the year 2013-17. Okay, remember that. With respect to the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, consider the following statements. Iran, Iraq, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia and Venezuela. These are the 5 founding members of the OPEC. That means when the agreement was signed to institutionalize OPEC, these 5 countries signed it. Second, Saudi Arabia is by far the leading producer of crude oil among the OPEC countries, and it is headquartered in Baghdad, Iraq. So how many statements given above is or are not correct? Iran, Iraq, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia and Venezuela. These are rightly so the founding members of the OPEC. OPEC has 13 countries. Then add 10 more countries to it. That gives us OPEC plus. Okay. These countries actually manage the oil supply in the market. For any commodity, we have a demand and we have a supply. So these countries together first look at the demand, and hence they try to match the supply in such a manner that they also are in profit and the other countries are not at a loss. So it's a very important organization. But sometimes as a cons, it can also look at the profiteering part and try to raise the price of the petroleum or the crude oil by reducing the production of oil. So first I told you the pros, and second I told you the cons. If in the interview, if it is asked by the interviewer about such pros and cons of the OPEC, you can talk about it. Then Saudi Arabia, yes, is by far the leading producer of crude oil among the OPEC countries. This is completely true. And it is actually headquartered in Vienna, Austria, and not Baghdad, Iraq. However, in Baghdad only, this decision was arrived at that we need to have OPEC. First statement is correct, second statement is correct, third is not correct. Not correct, we have to see, one only will be the correct answer. Now, the Secretary General of the OPEC has said that we are trying to enhance the membership of OPEC by talking with Azerbaijan, Malaysia, Brunei and Mexico. OPEC is a group of 13 countries. Major exporting oil countries these are, which was established in 1960. and it manages the amount of oil that has to be produced. It also has a say in the price of the oil. Okay. It is headquartered in Vienna, Austria, and it was initially established in Baghdad, Iraq in September 1960. The 13 countries which are a part of the OPEC include these 5 founding members, plus Algeria, Angola, Congo, Equatorial Guinea, Gabon, Libya, Nigeria, and the United Arab Emirates. Saudi Arabia stands first when it comes to the production of oil, crude oil in OPEC. Then we have Iraq. After that, UAE. After that, we have Kuwait. Azerbaijan, Bahrain, Brunei, Kazakhstan, these all are a part of the OPEC plus. With respect to Rajya Sabha, consider the following statements. 1/2 of its members retire every 2 years, and only 3 union territories are represented in the Rajya Sabha, which also includes Chandigarh. So which of the statements given above is or are correct? Rajya Sabha is a permanent body. It cannot be dissolved like the Lok Sabha. So every member retires every 6 years. That means the tenure of one member is of 6 years. So 1/3 of the member actually retired every 2 years, not 1/2. So that makes the first statement to be incorrect. 3 union territories are represented in the Rajya Sabha: Puducherry, New Delhi, and Jammu and Kashmir. Chandigarh is not represented, and apart from these 3 union territories, currently no other state is represented. Okay, so first statement is incorrect. Second statement is also incorrect. All right, so 1, 2, both, yes, neither 1 nor 2 will be the correct answer because none of them are correct. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar will file his nomination for Rajya Sabha from Gandhinagar in Gujarat today because he is set to retire and elections are going to take place. That is why it is important for us to know about Rajya Sabha. It shouldn't have more than 250 members, of which 238 are representing the states and the union territories, and 12 members are nominated by the president from various fields. Rajya Sabha is a permanent body, cannot be dissolved like the Lok Sabha. However, 1/3 of the members retire every 2nd year and they are replaced by newly elected members. So each member is elected for a term of 6 years. Vice President is the ex officio chairman of the Rajya Sabha. And if we talk about who is the, you can say the leader of the house, like every house has a leader, Lok Sabha has Prime Minister as the leader. If the Prime Minister is a member of the Rajya Sabha, then of course the Prime Minister will be the leader of the Rajya Sabha. But if the Prime Minister is the leader of the Lok Sabha, he will appoint or she will appoint the senior most member of their party as the leader of the Rajya Sabha. Okay, so moving on. 8 members from the union territories, from Delhi, Jammu Kashmir, Puducherry. We have the representation from there. 3 are from Delhi, 4 are from Jammu and Kashmir, and 1 is from Puducherry. The ruins of Hampi lie at the banks of which of the following rivers? Kaveri, Godavari, Krishna, Tungabhadra. The correct answer to this question will be option D, Tungabhadra. Okay, so the 3rd G20 Summit is taking place in Hampi, and the theme for it is protection and restitution of cultural property. According to UNESCO Convention of 1970, whatever important artifacts have been looted as a part of the colonial structure, these have to be returned, and of course under this only from the USA, India is getting back a good amount of artifacts. Next is the Kohinoor. But the Kohinoor is very complicated. Why? Because it is claimed not only by India but also Pakistan and Afghanistan. So that is why it is pretty much complex. But we want it back. So Hampi is the site and history of the Vijayanagara Empire. It was the 14th century capital. The ruins of it lie at the banks of the Tungabhadra river in the north. As you can see, we have the Tungabhadra. Apart from these, all three sides it has granitic rocks. And these are scattered throughout an area of 26 square kilometers, which is protected by the tempestuous Tungabhadra river. The genesis of the place, which is known as Hampi, it dates back to the ages of Ramayana, when it was known as Kishkinda, the kingdom of the monkeys. And between 9th and 10th century, the area was known as Vijaypur, and later in 1150 as Vijayanagar under the king Vijayadhwaja. Alright, moving on. He was a Serbian-American inventor. He was an electrical engineer, mechanical engineer, as well as a futurist. Known for his contributions to the designing of the modern alternating current electricity supply system. As a homage, unit used to measure the strength of magnetic field is named after him. Who is being referred to in the above paragraph? James Prescott Joule, Charles Augustin de Coulomb, Antoine Henry Becquerel, and Nikola Tesla. See, if we just go by the units, Joule is the SI unit for energy, Coulomb is for electric charge, Becquerel is for measuring radioactivity. The correct answer to this question is Tesla, Nikola Tesla. He was born on 10th July 1856. He was a Serbian-American inventor who was an electric engineer, mechanical engineer as well as a futurist. Specifically known for contribution in the development of modern alternating current. And he lived in New York City for good 60 years. As a homage, Tesla, a unit which is used to measure the strength of magnetic field, was named after him. Also, Tesla Motors, the electric car startup, in homage to Tesla's role in the invention of the electric motor. And we are launching our morning batches from 10th of July. If you want to take admission in Hindi, English or English batch, you can do so. For Hindi students, it will be available in complete Hindi. For English ones, we have complete English. For English ones, we have complete English. And it will be provided in a live class manner from 8 AM onwards on a daily basis. Not only that, study material, prelims test series, mains test series, daily answer writing practice, current affairs module, even a mains residential program for those students who are going to qualify prelims 2024. You will be called to the StudyIQ campus to stay within the residence of the StudyIQ campus. Everything will be provided you there. And after that, we have the mock interviews as well. So if you want to take admission, please do it. We are closing our batches soon. Do it as quick as possible, and it will be available to you, made available to you at a discounted fee of 29,999 if you use the code PDLive. Alright. Now, I will send you the PDF of this particular class on my Telegram channel. Do not forget to join it. Thank you so much.
StudyIQ IAS. अब तैयारी हुई अफोर्डेबल।